How do I know which way the market is going to go? How can I tell if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down? Now, you may think that there is a set of concrete rules that I follow, but actually, it's not a concrete rule that I follow, but actually, it's a framework which allows room for adjustment when needed. Now, let's hop into the chart so I can show you exactly what that framework is. In today's video, I'm going to be covering three things. The first thing is you need to know your end goal. So, what do I mean by this? Why do you need to know your end goal? Why do you need to know where you're trying to go? Now, the reason I say know your end goal is because some people want to buy crypto, they want to buy Bitcoin, buy Solana, buy Dogecoin, buy Ethereum, but they don't know why they are buying it. They just see it's pumping now, so they buy in, and then it dumps and they start losing money, so they sell. And they're constantly changing the next narrative, the next coin that's pumping. So if you know your goal, then it doesn't matter what's happening around you or how you're feeling. The emotional aspect is taken out because you know your goal. So my goal personally with Bitcoin is to sell in 20 to 40 years. In 20 to 40 years, I will sell probably 10% of my Bitcoin. Now, you may be thinking, how and where did I come up with these numbers? Well, in 20 to 40 years, I'll be in the middle to later sections of my life, getting closer to retirement age, but not quite there. I'll be having a family and I'll be wanting some nicer things, and I'll be looking at my house options, and there's many big purchases that are coming around that time. Now, when I sell off 10% of my Bitcoin at the rate it's going, I could have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank simply because of crypto. So, whether it dumps to zero today or goes to 500,000 today is kind of irrelevant, and the fact that I care about what happens in 20 to 40 years. So, whenever people say, "Oh, Bitcoin had a huge candle today and it went up 20%," that is pretty cool. But also it can go down 20% as well. When it goes down 20%, that's pretty cool as well. I just keep buying because I know my goal. I know my end time frame. I know, okay, this is the finish line. So you need to figure that out so that you don't miss out on gains. You don't sell early, you don't buy late because you know your goal. The second thing is you need to know your time frame. Now, this goes hand in hand with knowing your goal, knowing your end goal. My end goal is to ultimately retire off of crypto because I've saved up enough. But know your end time frame. So, I want to retire off of crypto. That's my end goal. In 20 to 40 years, I want to retire. But what's my time frame? Well, I already said it. 20 to 40 years is my time frame. When I'm at the age 65, I want to be start to slowly selling off some of my Bitcoin in order to rake in those gains and start retirement, to start doing other passions of mine, to start more businesses, to start whatever I'm wanting to start. But that all happens once I'm 65. Now, you may not be able to tell, but I'm not exactly close to 65. So I know that no matter if it goes up $3,000 on the day today, I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to keep buying, keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. No matter what happens, I'm going to just keep buying until I reach my end time frame. Why? Because my end time frame goes hand in hand with my end goal. Which leads us to the third and final thing, which is know your risk. The reason why I say know your risk is because people love to hear about how someone turned $800 into $300,000 using Trump coin. So what do? They go and buy Trump coin. But the thing is, once you hear these stories, many times it's already too late, especially on meme coins. So you gotta know what to do and how to be trading, which is why you can subscribe to this channel, because I teach you these things. But one way to find out your risk is through, there are many different ways you can find out your risk, but one way to do it is by looking at a 20% rule. So if you have $100 to trade, put in that $100, and then you can think, I'm only willing to lose 20%. So set a stop loss at 20%. What would be a 20% loss? And if it gets hit there, then you know you lost only as much as you wanted to lose. Or you could only put in $20 and say, if this all goes to zero, great, that was my whole risk. So there's two main ways to do it. You can either set it so you put in a big lump sum and then you're only willing to risk this small amount, or you only put in the small amount and you're willing to risk losing it all. Either or, there's no right way to do it. It just is what you prefer. And some people have higher risk than others. For example, I don't have many bills, and so I have a very high risk with some of these coins. Some of these coins I've put in hundreds of dollars looking at the coin, believing in the narrative, and it paid off. Other coins I've put in hundreds of dollars believing in the coin, looking at the narrative, and I lost it all. Every single penny. So, know your risk. Because I heard a saying once, but it goes, the loss is always bigger to the loser than the win is to the winner. The loss is always bigger to the loser than the win is to the winner. Let that sink in. So, what have we seen in today's video? We've seen that, one, you need to know your end goal. We've seen that. Two, you need to know your end time frame of when you want to reach that end goal. And three, you need to know your risk. You need to know how much you're willing to risk in order to withhold that time frame in order to reach your end goal. So how much can you risk for a certain duration of time to reach a certain end goal? With all that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.